Okay, so let's talk about AI image generation. These models are incredible, right? They can whip up these amazing, super realistic pictures from just a few words. But they have this weird little problem, a blind spot that some researchers at Arizona State University found fascinating and decided to dig into.
So, have you ever played around with this? You ask an AI, hey, draw me an airplane, and boom, it's perfect. But then you say, okay, now draw me a truck, and what you get back is, well, it's a mess. It's all blurry and weird looking. So what gives? Why is it so good at one and so bad at the other? Well, it all comes down to the AI's diet. I mean, these models learn by just gobbling up tons and tons of data from the internet. But here's the thing. The internet isn't exactly a balanced meal. You've got millions, maybe billions of pictures of airplanes, but trucks, way, way fewer. This creates this thing called a long-tail distribution. You've got a few things that are super popular, that's the head, and then a whole lot of stuff that's pretty rare, that's the tail.
So what happens when the AI just hasn't seen enough pictures of trucks? It basically starts to, well, improvise. It gets confused and starts borrowing features from the things it does know really well. So your truck might suddenly have the sleek wings of an airplane, or maybe the furry texture of a cat, because, cats are everywhere online. The end result is this weird, jumbled-up image that's not really a truck at all.
All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to peek inside the AI's brain. Let's take a look at how it actually organizes all of this information. So deep inside every AI, there's this thing called latent space. Now I know that sounds super technical, but don't worry. Just think of it like a giant filing cabinet in the AI's mind. And in a perfect world, every single idea it learns, airplane, truck, cat, whatever, gets its own neat, tidy, labeled folder.
But because of that unbalanced internet tie-up we were just talking about, that filing cabinet is a total disaster. I mean, look at this. This image shows you the chaos. Each color is supposed to be a different folder, but you can see they're all just bleeding into each other. The poor little folder for truck is getting completely swallowed up by the massive, overflowing folder for airplane. It's just a jumbled mess.
Now, this is what we're aiming for. This is what it looks like when an AI gets to learn from a nice, balanced set of data. See that? The internal filing cabinet is just pristine, beautifully organized. Every idea has its own clear, separate folder. No messy overlap, no confusion. This is the dream.
So this whole messy cabinet situation, this mixing and mashing of folders, it actually has a technical name. It's called representation entanglement. And that is the real reason we're getting those awful blurry trucks. The AI's concepts are literally all tangled up with each other. And that's exactly the problem that this new method, Coral, was designed to solve.
So how do you fix a mess like that? Well, the answer isn't just to throw more data at it. You need a smarter way to organize it. And that, my friends, is where Coral comes in.
Okay, so Coral, and that's a mouthful. It stands for Contrastive Regularization for Aligning Latents, is this really clever new training technique. The key thing here is that it doesn't bother trying to find more truck pictures online. Instead, it's like a little Marie Kondo for the AI's brain. It works from the inside to tidy up that messy filing cabinet while the AI is still learning. And the way it works is actually pretty simple to understand. It's just two steps. First, it grabs everything that's a truck and pulls it all together, making that folder nice and tight. Then, it takes that truck folder and the airplane folder and it pushes them apart, making sure there's a really clear space between them. So pull together, push apart. It's a really simple idea, but wow, is it effective.
And if you're wondering where this all happens, this diagram shows it. Coral basically inserts this little smart organizer right into the main intersection of the AI's network, kind of like the central sorting office for all its ideas. And by putting its rules right there at the very heart of the system, it makes sure that every single piece of new info gets filed correctly from the get-go.
Okay, so the theory sounds great, right? A super organizer for the AI's brain. But the real question is, does it actually work? Let's check out the results. And here it is. This is the big reveal. This is the AI's filing cabinet after Coral has worked its magic. Just look at that difference. Everything is so clean, so distinct. The clusters are perfectly separated. Now the truck folder is just as clear and sharp as the airplane folder. That whole representation entanglement thing? Gone. The mess is officially cleaned up. So, what's the result of having such an organized mind? Well, take a look at these images of tulips. Now, tulips were one of those rare tail-class things in the training data. On the left, you see what other AIs came up with. Blurry, weirdly shaped flowers that kind of look like they're mixed with something else. But on the right, Those are the coral images. They're sharp, they're detailed, they're diverse, they are undeniably tulips. The difference is just, wow, night and day.
And hey, the numbers don't lie. We're looking at two big things here. First is image quality, measured by something called FID, and for that, a lower number is better. Coral took that score from 7.70 all the way down to 5.37. That's a massive improvement. Then there's image diversity, where a higher number is better. Coral boosted that score too. So what this means is it's not just making better-looking pictures, it's making a wider variety of better-looking pictures.
And this right here brings us full circle, back to our truck problem. This chart shows the error rate, that FID score again, just for that one tail class, the truck. With a standard AI, the error is through the roof. But with Coral, it just plummets. This is the proof. Coral is directly fixing that long tail problem. It's teaching the AI to finally remember and draw the things it barely saw in the first place.
But you know, this is about so much more than just getting pretty pictures of trucks and flowers. Figuring out how to solve this representation entanglement problem, well, it has some really huge implications for the entire future of AI.
Think about it. An AI with a well-organized mind, one that doesn't just forget about the rare stuff, is a much more reliable and trustworthy AI. In medicine, for example, this could be the difference between an AI that can spot a rare disease just as easily as the common cold. It could lead to better tools for scientists, for engineers, any field where every single detail matters, not just the popular ones.
And the researchers really said it best themselves. They realized that tidying up the AI's internal filing cabinet, that latent space, is way more effective than just trying to force-feed it more pictures. It's not about seeing more, it's about thinking more clearly.
You know, most AI today just reflects the world it sees, with all its biases. It makes the popular stuff even more popular and lets the rare stuff just fade away. But something like Coral shows us there's another way. And it leaves us with this really powerful question. If we can teach our AIs to truly see and remember everything, the rare, the forgotten, the obscure, what incredible new worlds could they help us imagine?